In Jerusalem, as a child, I felt a stranger. In Amman, I felt a stranger. I went to Australia, I was still a stranger. I went to Italy, I was a stranger. I went to France, to England, to United States, everywhere I felt a stranger. The first time I came to Armenia was in 1991, just at the time when Armenia was going to vote for independence. But as soon as I put my feet on the ground here, I felt I belonged here. Feeling of strangers stopped the moment I was here. I was born in Jerusalem. My parents are Armenians. They are survivors of the genocide of 1915. They met each other in Jerusalem. When there was Israeli-Arab war, my parents went to Amman, Jordan. I grew up there, and at the age of 20, our family migrated to Australia. My father was a very patriotic person. He really loved Armenia. Although I could not read Armenian at the beginning, he taught me the love of the Armenian language, the Armenian culture. I was always praying for vocations, and I was praying that one of my brothers will become a priest. And a voice said to me, if it is a good thing, why don't you try it? And if it is a bad thing, why do you want it for your brothers? So that's how it all started. At the age of 24, I went to mature age seminary, and in 1973 I was ordained priest. I was 29, and that was in Australia. 3 years later, I came to Rome. I became biritual, and I started studying the Armenian rite. 2 years later, I went to Paris, and I was parish priest of the Armenian Catholics in Paris and the region of Paris. I never thought of coming here, so I was thinking in terms of the need for priests in the diaspora. After 4 years in Paris, I went back to Australia. I started a school, because for me the Armenian roots were very important, and my motto for the school was no roots, no fruits. So I wanted to give roots to the Armenian people in their own culture so that they can be good citizens in Australia. I was principal of that school for 18 years. The most important feeling that I had when I came here, I belong to this country. I knew that I'll be able to help people here. You could see that there was an emptiness, and as they say, communism has emptied man of his humanity. So there is only the outside, the inside is completely corrupt. And that's what I could see. And the corruption was not at the top. Corruption was at the very bottom also, everywhere, in all the families. What really shocked most at the very beginning is the work of the mafia. Mafia was very, very strong. You had to pay for everything. For example, you are going on the road, the police will stop you and ask money for no reason at all, and force you to give that money. You want a driver license, You had to pay it. If you wanted to have a cellular phone, the official price was $25. When I came 7 years ago, I had to pay $300. Until now, there are a lot of monies that you pay, and you even get official receipts. It goes into pockets. When you go to the hospital, there's the official price, but the doctor asks for a much higher cost.
Aref dadik. Monses. Rafiki ure.
Este gele pane, duye migne.
Rafiki ure.
Rafige?
Ha.
Ya kukami na.
Hima kuka. Nakhirin ke pangene ke tani. Ha. Noel. Are vinç vesek lave. Are. The children sleep here, 8 of them. The grandma sleeps here. The oldest daughter is 16, she sleeps there. 2 boys sleep there. And 2 boys, 1 girl, the youngest girl, and the grandmother here. It is very hard situation. The husband is taking the cows for pasture for 5 months, and for 5 months he gets 3,000 tram for each cow, and he has 48 cows. And to have 5 or more children in Armenia is really a heroic thing to do, because the situation is not the best. There is no help like other countries where they will help the families.
In Armenia, charity does not exist. Loving your neighbor, loving those children who are destitute, who have so many needs. Because so many of the older ones, they haven't received that love. How can they give something that they haven't received?
This building, at one time it used to belong to the church, but after the communists came, it was all confiscated. But we bought this place about 5 years ago, and we haven't been able to use it because it is in a dilapidated state. So to renovate this place, it's going to be a real big job. I've already given to the architect to draw plans. The Arabic Church. It is the biggest Armenian Catholic church in Armenia. This church was built about 107 years ago. Before the revolution, a huge area here belonged to the church, and it was confiscated after the revolution, and it was used as a storage area until 1991. When we reclaimed the church, they gave us only the church without any land attached to it. We had to put a new roof on the church. That was done by Kerhenat, the church in need. The important thing is not that I do things, but that the work be done, somebody to do it. I have ideas. And because I have grown overseas and in the West, I have seen all the Western ways of doing things. I can do a lot of things here. I can show young people and I can move people to do more and more. Two years ago, and on the last Sunday of May, I organized a procession in the streets of the village. It was the first time in
Armenia Marian procession. We have a beautiful statue here. We took that statue in the streets. The time was extremely dry, and at the moment we finished the procession, it was pouring rain, and it poured for 2 weeks. Then we had to pray for rain to stop. The people were very impressed. They said, when are we going to have another procession? So that we can ask the Lord for other favors. Communism emptied man of humanity, and the faith is the same thing. It is completely emptied. So there is only the outside thing. Faith for them is only to believe in this God, in this power that exists, but it doesn't require anything from them. For example, the amount of money that is spent on burning candles, it's really shocking for me. On a Sunday, as 4 times more people came on that Sunday, some of them before Mass, some of them after Mass, and they just burned candles. And even during Mass, they burned candles, they said a prayer, and they went. Mass doesn't mean anything to them. There are, for me, 3 different things regarding faith. There is that acknowledgement that there is a power, and how you refer to that power. There is what you know about your faith, and the third one is, can you connect the two? And does believing in God change your way of life? So in Armenia, people will say, I believe, but their life doesn't show it. And they know nothing about faith. They know nothing about Jesus Christ. For example, one elderly person I'm talking, he says, there's God the Father, God the Son, God the Mother. That was his understanding of the Trinity. As parish priest of Panic, my first concern was the youth, school children. That's where you start. And given the fact that I was 18 years principal of a school in Australia, the school that I founded, the first place I visited was the school. The school finishes about 2 o'clock. And all these children, after 2 o'clock, they used to have different activities. They used to be either in sport or dancing, singing, musical instruments, painting. After the collapse of communism, that all had stopped because there was no money. So the children were left on their own in the afternoon. They were in the streets. So the first thing I did was collect these young people, and I started different groups, different activities for them.
When we come here in the morning, we pray, then we attend Mass, then we come back here for something to eat. After which, each one of us goes to his apprenticeship workshop. I like it here because everybody feels well here. Much better to play here than to stay home and watch television.
Father Anton Tatonjian, our parish priest, came to Panic in 2002. He brought about a great spiritual awakening among the people of the countryside. It's as if the people here were born anew, everything, from organizing activities for the young, through Sunday pursuits, catechesis, and the Armenian Catholic Association. It's all his doing. It's all thanks to Father Anton Totonjan's efforts. One can see great changes for the better after these 6 years of his work amongst us.
Our work comes down to instilling positive values in our children. We want to pass on what's best to them. After all, they are our future. If they have any problems or issues to resolve, they come to us and we talk with them with open hearts. We consult with our priest. We try to be friendly in our approach, to help them as best we can. Above all else, we try to instill in our children love and respect for their fellow human beings, something that will bear fruit in the future. We teach them respect for the Church, about faith, our religion, Christianity.
People lived here for 70 years under a communist regime. It isn't easy for them to convert quickly. Young people come to church because the whole program is addressed to them. What we witness today, people returning to the faith, applies above all to young people. Very few old people come. They received a Soviet upbringing throughout their youth. So these people must have time before they will return to the faith. I am convinced that the young people of today, when they themselves become parents, will most certainly bring up their children differently, in truth and in the faith.
We are in the village of Arevik, and after the closure of the church, here in this small place, it became an unofficial chapel. For sure, it was not allowed, but it was not too much frowned upon either. So people used to come, and inside they will burn candles and say prayers, either individually as a group. So many adults now say when they were children, their grandmother used to bring them, especially on feast occasions or on Sundays, to come and pray. It's early afternoon, and inside we can see candles burning, which means that a couple of hours ago, half an hour ago, somebody was here praying. Faith is transmitted by the grandparents, especially grandmothers. So in families where there were good grandmothers, they transmitted, not knowing the families. When children will come to confession, I could place them in the families because some of these children, they had very sensitive consciences. But others, no way. Even grown-ups, no sensitivity. Women are supposed to be faithful, but for men, adultery is not a sin. It's a normal thing. That's the mentality, and it has nothing to do with their faith. But they don't want to steal from each other. Or when they steal from the neighbor, they know that's wrong. But if they stole from the government or from the church, they can afford it. What's wrong? What we need in Armenia
more than money, more than anything else, is a change of heart among the people. And for that change of heart, we need people from outside who can come and help in formation. A priest friend in Lebanon started something about 30 years ago, an association of Armenian Catholic. They have very strict rules, like scout movement, but more in a military way, and even the groups that they have military terminologies, and the discipline is very strong. In Arevik village and in Panik village, I have about 130, 140 children who come every Sunday. They are given work to do during the week. There is a sense of belonging. The persons in charge, they are meeting during the week to organize what to do the next Sunday. This priest from Lebanon has helped me in organizing, and he paid for two people from here to go to Lebanon for a couple of weeks to see how they are working. He sent a man and a woman to come and help here in the organization. So this movement has been going on now for just over 2 years, which is beautiful.
Every village used to have a so-called art centre, where young people in fact gathered. Book reading sessions were organised. There was a library that young people used, but nobody could talk about any religion, not a word. We were afraid of such things. We were afraid to talk. We bring up our children here in a spirit of allegiance to our faith, our country, and our community. I am convinced that they will proceed likewise, thanks to Father Anton. Faith is presently an integral part of them. What is, however, needed is a spark to ignite that faith and spread it. And that is where we come in, to ensure that it happens. In communist times, not only our countryside parish, but the whole republic as well, was far removed from the faith. We were educated and brought up in a spirit of atheism. Now our only aim is to tread the path to God, and thanks to Him to do good for our Armenia, as well as our small local community. We want to pass this on to the next generation. Today, thanks to Father Anton, and of course thanks to these shows and prayers, the activities we run in Hog Yemen, our scout group, thanks to all that, I believe in God, and whenever I endeavour to attempt something, I do it uniquely in unison with God, with His permission, and according to His will.
The parents are very happy. The children are really excited. Every day, mom has to push them to get up so that they can go to school. But on Sunday, like a student just jumps out of bed and is ready to go, and he wants to go. And he wants to bring his friend also. gradually a change of heart is taking place. And in Panic now, for example, after only 6 years, I have a church council who is willing to work with me so that they can raise money from the community to do work. So the parents don't come to Mass, but I tell them, you have to come because I want to talk to you about your children. Everybody's here. My dream has always been the same since I became a priest. And the reason why I became a priest, my dream is to let everybody know how much Christ loves them.